Hello! Welcome to this installment of Greenbelt at Home's Nature Crafts with Angel. And that's me. I'm Angel Ehlers, and I'm really excited to craft with you today. We're going to make two different crafts today, one of them being a birdseed cookie made from a nice mixture of healthy bird feed, some gelatin, and some hot water. The second craft we're going to make is a pine cone bird feeder. This one's a little simpler, just using peanut butter as a binder, pine cone as your mold, and rolling it in birdseed. Local birds rely on a steady source of food and nutrition throughout the years, but sometimes on especially cold nights or harsh winters or during migration, they might need a little bit of help from you and me. So that's why we're going to make this craft, and we're going to be able to put these bird feeders out in our own backyards to help our local population of feathered friends. The birdseed mixture that we'll be using today is made from milo, white millet, cracked corn, black oil sunflower seeds, and striped sunflower seeds. This mixture will attract a wide variety of birds, including blue jays, brown creepers, cardinals, catbirds, chickadees, American goldfinches, juncos, mockingbirds, mourning doves, robins, song sparrows, and more. Now that we know what we're going to make, let's go through the list of materials that we'll need to make it happen. Starting with a mixing bowl and a mixing spoon. We'll need our birdseed, of course, some sort of vegetable oil to lubricate the inside of the molds that we're using. We'll need some measuring spoons with a teaspoon and tablespoon measurement. We'll need just a little bit of gelatin, and for this craft we're using Knox's unflavored gelatin. We will need boiling water. We'll also need cold water, and then we will need some molds. If you picked up a materials packet from us, you got a really cool cookie cutter with a leaf and some paper cups, and they'll work really well. If you have other cookie cutters at home, they'll work as well. And then if you had something as simple as a muffin tin, that would work great. We'll need a flat tray, maybe a baking tray or a Pyrex tray. We'll need a single skewer, some string, and a pair of scissors. Our very first step is we're going to have to make sure that we lubricate our molds before we do anything else. So I suggest you get a paper towel and put a bit of oil on it. Set your oil to the side, kind of dampen it, and then just kind of grease the inside of wherever you anticipate putting your birdseed. If you run out of oil, just do it again. If you're using the cookie cutters, then you'll want to set them inside of your baking tray or your flat tray so that they are ready to fill with birdseed. Now it's time to start mixing. The first thing we'll add is our gelatin. You can do a full batch with one full packet of gelatin or 1 tablespoon, or you can cut it in half like I have. Because I don't have too many molds that I want to fill right now, you can cut it in half if you don't have too many, and then you can reproduce the craft at another time. So you add your gelatin, and then we're going to add our cold water. If you're doing the full batch, it is 2 tablespoons, but like I said, I cut mine in half, so it is 1 tablespoon. When you add your water to your gelatin, you're going to spend about 1 minute mixing. Make sure you get all the powdered gelatin in there. Now we are going to add our boiling water. I'm outside, so I don't have a stove out here, so I already boiled my water and put it in this thermos. And if you're making your full batch, you're going to add 1/3 of a cup of boiling water. But again, I'm doing half a batch, so I'm going to add about 1/6 of a cup. Let's see, you can see the steam coming off of it. That's a little too much. I'm at 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to pour a little bit out. Pour a little bit more out. And that's it. And add your boiling hot water to your mixture and start to mix that paste together. Now once that is all mixed together and you can see that there are no gelatin granules or chunks or anything in there and it's all one nice consistency, then we're going to add our birdseed. So I am adding 1 cup of birdseed. I'm going to have to add a little bit more to, but it's actually not an exact science. So I'm going to just add this less than 1 cup and start to mix it together. Mine looks a little bit loose and a little bit wet, so I am going to add a little bit more birdseed. I'm going to eyeball it and just add about that much. Then mix them all together again. You kind of want to do this process swiftly because this gelatin, once the water starts to cool, everything starts to harden and set, but we want to wait until it is where we want it to be before it starts to set, and it is not in our molds yet. So once all of the sides are all coated, then we're ready for our next step. Now that everything is all mixed together, it's time to fill our molds. So I'm going to show you how to fill each of the different molds that I showed you in the beginning, and then if you use all different ones, then you'll come out with different shapes and sizes for your birdseed cookie. So we'll start with the muffin tin. You can just spoon your birdseed inside, and you're looking for about at least 1/2 inch, but maybe about 1 inch in thickness. It's okay if it's a little messy. Once you spoon everything together, you can clean it up. But these bird seeds are sticking together, so it is a very natural kind of thing to be happening here. You can just take it from there, add it to there. And if they're clumping, that is totally fine. Again, we're going to end up pushing these down and pressing all of the air out of them anyway. So this is just the first step. I'm just going to do 4 of those so that we have some more birdseed mixture to fill our next mold. So we're going to fill up our leaf cookie cutter here, just like we did with the muffin tin. There's some birdseed stuck to my spoon, so I'm going to use my fingers. And this is totally safe to do with your fingers. It's even a little bit of fun to get messy. So once we've used up all of our birdseed, we can set our bowl aside and get to work pressing these down. So we found that the firmer you press everything down and the more air bubbles you remove from in between all the bird seeds, the tighter packed your birdseed cookie will be. With something like this, you're going to have to make sure that you're pushing the bird seeds into thinner, harder to reach areas. They don't naturally want to go in there, so you have to make it happen if that is important to you. And otherwise, continue to press everything down. It's okay if everything's falling to the side. You can either pick them up, put them back in, or you can just leave them and kind of scatter them for the birds to enjoy, just like that. You're going to want to make sure that that cookie cutter is nice and secure to the bottom of the tray, and then it's going to stay just like that until you're all done. Alrighty, everything is looking so great, and our birds are gonna love this, but we need to remember that we're gonna be hanging these from strings. So before the gelatin sets, we need to make holes in these molds. So if you got a package from us, you have a nice skewer, and that skewer will be what you make your hole with. Be sure not to go too close to the edge of any of your molds, or once it sets, it may actually crumble and your hole may break. So I suggest going in at least ½ inch in. If you want to be really safe, you can go all the way in the middle to make a hole. So I think I'm going to do a few different kinds here. Just stick that skewer in, circle it around so that there is a hole big enough to fit whatever string you are using. Now that we finished this whole process, it's time to let the gelatin set. So you'll take your trays, however many you have, and put them right in your refrigerator. And you're gonna leave them there for about 2 to 3 hours, checking on them, seeing if they are nice and hard. I found that mine took a little longer than 2 hours, and I actually left them in overnight. So if that's what it takes for you, that's just fine. If it's cold enough outside, you may have a back porch that's enclosed. That's where I actually kept mine for over 2 days to make sure that they were really hard, but it should only take a few hours. Now that we have let our gelatin set, our birdseed cookies are ready to come out of their molds. These are some cookie cutters that I had at home that I filled, that I was really excited to make these fun shapes. We have a squirrel and a gingerbread boy, and it's going to be really fun. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to, if you have a cup, you can, oh, there we go. I guess I oiled it well enough that it slid right out, and you can see the hole going right through, and that's where we're going to string it. You see how hard that is. Nothing is falling off, and even if the top ones fall off, it's not a huge deal. Then we're gonna lift the outside of the cookie cutter while putting pressure on the inside. And there is our gingerbread boy birdseed cookie. And our squirrel, let's see if that one's as easy to separate. Some of them might be harder. You might have to wiggle the cookie cutter to get it off. But look at that, they all worked really great. So now our last step is just to add some string. Depends on where you'll be hanging this from, but maybe the string can be about a foot and a half long, just so you have enough space. And then we'll go through the front of the hole. It comes out the back. We'll just tie a very basic square knot right here. And then if you have extra strings, you can just come right in and snip off the edges. And let's see, does it work? Does it work? Oh, it does. That's wonderful. How exciting. So now we're just going to add strings to the other ones, and you'll see that you can just hang this wherever you want outside your house. You can hang it on a branch. You can hang it from the outside of your windowsill. You can hang it from a pole or something that you put outside, and just watch the birds come to your birdseed cookie. We just made these really cute birdseed cookies from using birdseed and gelatin and water as a binder. I'm going to show you how to make an even simpler craft right now using birdseed and another binder that you may have sitting right around your house. I'm going to use this nice smooth peanut butter. If you don't have peanut butter or you have a peanut butter allergy, you can use Crisco or lard as your binding agent. You'll need a spoon to apply your binding agent. You'll need your birdseed, a flat plate, a pine cone, some string, and a pair of scissors. We'll start this one out by setting up a space that we're okay with getting a little bit messy. I found by doing this craft that smoother peanut butters are not as ideal as a more solid peanut butter because they are messier. But just mix it up. Get a nice spoonful. Hold your pine cone at the end to keep from making too much of a mess. And we're just going to add peanut butter generously, but also kind of carefully to the outside of our pine cone. Letting those scales kind of pick up the peanut butter and hold it there. We're going to want to coat the whole outside of this cone. Now once you have your pine cone covered in your peanut butter, you're going to take your birdseed and just pour it right on the plate. Then, kind of like you have a corn on the cob, you're just going to roll your pine cone covered in peanut butter or Crisco or lard or whatever you have, and apply a little bit of pressure so that you can pick up your birdseed. Now this is going to be a really tasty treat for some birds, but do not forget that you are also going to be attracting some squirrels with this. So you're going to want to think about that when you are hanging this up. You may want to put it kind of out of reach or on a lower branch or somewhere that might be harder for a squirrel to get to. And then I suggest you actually put this in the fridge on the same tray that you put your birdseed cookie molds, because it's easier to put this out and put the string on once it is a little bit solidified. And once you do that, you'll just cut your length of string. I'll show you how to do this now, even though I suggest you do it the other way. Do the string afterwards. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be secured under the scales of the pine cone. Tie another little square knot there, nice and secure. And here you are, your finished product. That's it, you've done it. You've crafted along with me and made these different little feeding sites for your local and migrating feathered friends to come and visit. So depending on where you put these in your yard or out your back window, take a look at it every day. Observe what variety of feathered friends you're attracting to your birdseed feeders. Maybe you're attracting some other animals also. You can even keep a journal of the different wildlife that you see you're bringing to your yard. And there's so much to learn. So thank you so much for crafting along with us. And again, thank you to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology for providing such quality materials in this bird feed. And if you do craft along with us and you want to take some pictures and share them with us, we love to see what you're working on. So send an email through to sigreenbelteducation@gmail.com. Check out our website at sigreenbelt.org and share with us on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel and an Instagram account to stay connected. So thank you so much. See you next time.